Hello, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. Lots of things to say about this show tonight. Well, one important information I need to discuss, I guess I've heard about this today, is that Don Callis is no longer an executive at Impact Wrestling, apparently. I heard this was rumored now for the past, I want to say, couple weeks. I've been hearing about this to see what was going to happen with Don Callis, given that it was rumored that he would be leaving his position in Impact. Now I know he will still be on TV, but given that he is Kenny Omega's manager right now, whatnot on both AEW and Impact, it wouldn't make no sense to just take him off of Impact if he's not the executive, um, producer. What his role basically in the company, because he was kind of one of the forerunners of the show between him and Scott D'Amore and probably some other people too. But he was like one of the top executives in Impact. Like I said, I'm sure he'll still be on TV, given like he was on tonight. But given that he's no longer the executive president, that kind of tells you something. Now, apparently, and I'm not sure how true this was, that of course we all knew he would have been going to AEW anyways. But I heard he even took a lower pay cut to go to AEW, just to get out of Impact and whatnot. So that kind of tells you something. I know some people said we didn't need Don Callis, and Don Callis was hogging a lot of stuff. I liked Don Callis in probably the first couple of years he was there in the company, but I will say it still was a lot of boneheaded booking decision when it came to Impact and whatnot, and who they pretty much trusted and everything. I like Callis and stuff, but I can somewhat understand why. And I know I see why people want to say it's a positive that he's gone, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're executive, you know, president. I don't know if it's executive president, but your top executive just left to go to your other company, okay? Because he's managing, the world champion of like what 2, 3 different shows right now. All right, so just that kind of tells you something that's not really a good sign. I'm sure Scott D'Amore will be running this on his own, or whoever they bring in as Don Callis' replacement. I'm not really sure who they will bring in as his replacement, but he still will be on TV, with Omega on both Impact and AEW right now. It's just he's not the top executive, one of the EVPs basically in Impact anymore, given what I've heard today. So that kind of tells you something. It was already rumored, but I guess now apparently it is true. So we'll see what goes on with that. But don't know if that's much of a good sign, or if they get someone different. I'm not really sure. They did have a video package at the beginning about Violent by Design, talk about the failures they've had and how they bounced back now, getting the tag team titles from FinJuice last week. So, other than the promo by Eric Young, which is a very good video package to kick off, we do kick off the show with D'Lo Brown and Josh Matthews on commentary. Apparently, there was no Matt Striker this week because I guess he was on assignment, apparently, so they left Josh there. Sami Callihan came out then, basically wanted a chair in the ring, calling Kenny Omega a dumbass, and, Omega brought all this bull crap here to Impact ever since he's got here. Him and his goons are afraid of Death Machine and whatnot. And, he talked about how, Omega has a plan for, the whole roster and everything. Callahan basically, talking on the roster, it said, you don't have a plan for me, all right? Because he basically told Don Callis is also afraid because Callahan's going to be putting his hands on, this whole Precious Omega and everything. So he called Kenny Omega to come out right now. But Moose came out then. Moose basically being the number one contender against all odds. Moose basically says there's a lot of complaining going on with you out here, and nobody cares right now. And, Callahan, you're not the number one contender because you didn't beat 5 other men at Under Siege. Got it? Moose basically told him to stay out of his business. Kenny Omega is my business now, and I'm going to take him out at against all odds and become the world champion. Callahan, basically said, listen, all right, it's kind of interesting that the Good Brothers only attack me, but they don't ever attack you, all right? Because, they're unpredictable and dangerous. But then the Good Brothers came out basically talking about praise the Lord several times, about, if they can, I don't know, feed their kids or whoever's watching some car or whatnot. But they sounded like wannabe preachers for some reason. Basically, they start talking about Moose then and whatnot, trying to take his side. Moose basically said that, yeah, him and the Good Brothers are on his side, but I'm not on theirs. Moose and Callahan end up attacking the Good Brothers then, pretty much throwing them out of the ring. So, good way to kick off the show. Callis did basically show up, kind of near the end of it, No, the Good Brothers were back and back, but a very good video package to kick the video package. A very good segment to kick off the show. Hot opener, I'll say that, especially with the number one contender and Callahan still getting involved. Basically, set up a tag team match for the main event, which makes sense. So this was not a bad segment in the beginning of the show. Callis ended up, booking the match though tonight. As Gia Miller says, how are you booking matches? Callis says, listen, I'm the invisible hand. You don't have to see anything. I influence it. Scott D'Amore showed up basically saying, oh, I see you're doing this for the ratings this week, all right? Callis tried to say something else before he left, so obviously something's going to happen with Callis and D'Amore, which is probably going to lead into something of Callis kicking off, not Callis, but D'Amore kicking Callis off of his whole executive vice president role. So we'll see what goes with that. TJP followed by when against P. Williams and Josh Alexander. A good tag team match which ended up with TJP ended up hitting the Mamba Splash onto Josh Alexander, which I will say next week now. They talked about him in the ring several times. We've seen both of these guys face each other several times for the X Division title. But Scott D'Amore, it's going to be an Iron Man match next week on BTI before the Impact. So I guess I'm going to have to check that out next week. It's probably a 3-hour show now that I think about it. I watched some of those BTI shows. It's basically the pre-show and whatnot. It's basically a pre-show for Impact, but I may check this out because I think that's really going to be a damn good match, though, especially for an Iron Man to give them 60 minutes out there. We'll see what goes on with that, so I'm going to have to check out BTI next week for Impact. W. Morrissey or Big Cass, basically, or Giant Edge, start that kind of promo as if, he's happy to see him and whatnot, but Morrissey said that's condescending, and everyone else is like him in the real world and whatnot. As Gia said, they do come off as bitter. Basically, they're like bitter. All right, listen, I've had a health emergency. All right, in the middle of the rain due to alcoholism. But instead of calling 911, because he talked about this business that there are no friends in this business and whatnot, and that everyone is just they're smiling in your face, and then as soon as the camera start rolling, they start talking about you. All right, and when he talked about his situation, he had, instead of calling 911, fans just took out their phones and started to record, laughing. And then, when he's recovering right now, they want to buddy up to him. And then there's no nice people here. But Gia Miller says, I know some nice people like Rich Swann and Willie Mack. As Morrissey said, they're not really friends, okay? Swan's just using Mack to boost his ego, because if he were gone tomorrow, he wouldn't care. He would just go and try to, step over him if he has to, all right? But, he says Swann and Mack, like everybody else, they're selfish. Basically started laughing, and you want to laugh me at my lowest point? Who's laughing now, huh? Who's laughing now? Rich Swann ended up kicking Cass in the face then, basically trying to choke him with a cord and whatnot before the referees ended up breaking it up, since it was kind of hard for Swann to reach. Give it how big and tall Cass is. It's kind of like climbing a tree, so it's going to be tough to get in there. But a very good promo by Cass and Morrissey. That was a real good promo, I will say. So not bad at all. Next after that, they had a video package for the Knockouts division. Just kind of talking about the Knockouts division. Really good video package, okay? I thought they were getting their own show for a second, but it's just still promoting Impact. Gia Miller talked about this whole 10-woman tag thing that was coming up, but there was no Taylor Wilde out there. Rachel Ellering tried to get a partner, which was Jordynne Grace, but Jordynne Grace said, oh, so I'm just here for the substitute, huh? But she ended up still filling in. Obviously, Jordynne Grace is going to be turning heel soon, but who they have? Deonna Purrazzo, Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz, Susan and Kimberly versus Rachel Ellering, Jordynne Grace, Tenille Dashwood, Rosemary, and Jessica Havoc. Not much I can say about this match. Chaotic, I'll give it that. Rosemary ended up winning with the wing clipper and whatnot on to Deonna Purrazzo getting the pin. So she did pin the champion, folks. Will she get a title shot? I'm not really sure, but I could expect that to happen. In the flashback video, Violent by Design came out. Basically, talked about violence is scary, unpredictable, and chaotic. And they use that tool as our vehicle or whatnot. And that the sickness needs to be removed. As he talked about, he found Joe Doring just all across Japan delivering violence. And, just bringing that pain to people. He even talked about Deaner, who once was sick, but now he's cleansed. He's in his pure form right now. And he talked about Rhino, how he brought him back to being a war machine and whatnot. Excuse me, this was all being done by design, all right? Because to call your shot, we did call our shot when we got that call your shot trophy and everything, and that FinJuice were weak. and they're already in Japan right now. So basically, Eric Young, basically put everybody on notice right now. Impact, North America, Mexico, Japan, East Coast, West Coast, whoever wants it, come get some, basically. But next, the lights went out, and Satoshi Kojima basically making his debut. He only came out, he looked at Joe Doring, and he said, against all odds. So, obviously, it's going to be a match between both of them and against all odds. I don't know why I try to say how much history they have with them. I don't know the history of both of these guys, if they even have matches with each other. I'm not really sure when it comes to Joe Doring and Satoshi Kojima. But, Koji Kojima here is in Impact right now, so we'll see what goes on with that. But I probably expected more, given it was his debut on Impact. And so I just called him, come for a random match. So I was like, you're next, basically. I know he's placed on with Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. Basically, Myers took him out, and I guess he took that Sam Beal under his wing then after that. But like I should have said, Violent by Design cut a really good promo, though, before the whole return. Who returned? Oh, yeah, Kojima. What am I talking about return for? But, yeah, that's basically what I would put for that segment and whatnot. But still, very good promo by Violent by Design. They were walking it back saying, if Joe Doring does accept Kojima's challenge, Crazy Stephen Black Taurus showed up as Dina started to argue with them and whatnot. And now we will be the tag team champions, but they called him annoying. And you're a fool as they walked out there, getting ready for the match against Giant Swinger and Black Taurus. Not much to say from here. Decay got the win. That's all you really need to know. Yeah. Feel like I'm missing a part, though, for some reason. I just kind of felt I was missing something. But I know they had a good video pack, actually, Rohit Raju and Jake Something for that tables match next week. I don't know why we don't have more of those. They didn't know they had much history with each other also. But Moose and Callahan went against the Good Brothers in the end. Basically, Moose and Callahan were about to try to get their finishers, but one kept kicking the other. Moose ended up kicking Callahan, which the Good Brothers got the double spear in for him for the win. Not double spear, but the magic killer on Callahan for the win. As Moose looked on, he ended up spearing Callahan in the ring, basically telling you better stay out of my way. So a simple, effective match in the end. Not much of a match, but puts heat on the heels. The faces can't work together and whatnot. So I'm still seeing some type of screwing thing at against all odds. I still think it'll be a triple threat match by Slammiversary between all those three for the world title. That's what I see happening, okay? But I can't be really sure at the same time. But I've been calling that for a while now. What's going to mostly be a triple threat match if they can get it at that time, though. All right, that's what I definitely expect to see happening. But other than that, though, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodandKnight890. Tell me what you think about this show. Are you looking forward to next week's show from Impact? I don't know, but check out this show still. All right, I'm out. See you guys later. Peace.